In the past 2 weeks, I've been thinking about humor. Humor is one of those things that lights up the world. Whether you're hanging with friends, whether you're just alone, whether you're working, whether you're talking to a girl, humor is one of those things that lights up the world. But this time around, I was thinking about humor in a marketing perspective and including humor in your work. For instance, your articles, your blog posts, and the rest. So I started working on another piece at first, but I felt like the piece was super serious. And at this point, humor was trying to talk to me, telling me, "Hey, why don't you write a piece about how humor can be incorporated in SEO?" So I thought about humor like that cake. Have you ever found yourself in a situation where you bought a cake, took a bite, put it in the fridge, the whole night you're just thinking about the cake, you went to bed thinking about the cake, woke up in the morning thinking about the cake, and just looking at the phone until, for instance, the time to eat the cake can come, but this time I didn't wait. I just went deep into humor so that I can look at what humor offers in a marketing perspective. The thing is, things nowadays have become so super serious and bland in the sense of being professional and being authoritative. Things have become super serious and super bland. And if you throw AI into the mix, things just become super generic. And that is the reason why having something like humor can make your work stand out in this day and age. There's this meme that has been circulating on Instagram of a kid who was telling someone, it was a salesman who was knocking the door. He told the salesman, "You can try to sell that to me, but I will sell you a punch in the gut." So, to some extent, generic information is that annoying to that extent where you feel like you just can't read it anymore because it's been toned down. It suppresses a lot of things. So that's the reason why we're taking a look at humor today's video. So humor can leave a certain impression in your mind to the point where 10 years from now or 20 years from now you can remember something humorous. We always have those humorous moments in life where something humorous happened and we can remember it 10 years, 15 years later. Same thing goes for memes. There's a certain meme, for instance, you saw in maybe 2015 or 2014 and you can still remember it right now. And when you remember it, you just have a quick laugh. That is the kind of impression that you want to leave on when a potential customer interacts with your work or when a lead interacts with your work. You want to leave a certain impression that will make them remember your work years later. I always do the same thing. When I see a funny video, I might go back and watch it because it was very humorous. Why do I like humor? Because it puts me in a late mood, makes me laugh, makes me not take things super serious. That is the reason why I love humor because it reduces the seriousness of things. You know, the seriousness, the rigidness. So there's also this video on YouTube, someone on a train, and then he received a call. He started laughing, and the whole train started laughing along with him because that sense of humor spread to other people. And as it spread to other people, they laughed. It's a 2 minute video, but it's very funny because the person who received the phone call was in a humorous mood. And as a result, the video went viral. To this point, it has 32 million views. Now you can imagine almost, let's say, 30 million people have watched the video. It is a 2 minute video, humorous video. He didn't say anything, he was just laughing. Something as simple as that can go to a lot of people and can leave a lot of people in a humorous state. That is one of the reasons why humor can be very good for attracting attention, because the moment someone comes across a humorous video, they'll not necessarily watch it once, they'll watch it maybe 2 times, 3 times, 4 times. The same thing goes with a humorous piece of information. Maybe you wrote a story. You read a story which was humorous. Not only did you read it once, you read it twice, thrice. Then after a few weeks, you came back and read the story again. And then maybe after 2 months, you read the story again and again, because it left a very strong impression, a very good, strong impression in your mind. That's the reason why you went back. Now, if you put yourself in your potential customers' shoes, if they're reading something humorous from you, or they're interacting with something humorous from you, they're more likely to come back again and again, because you have something humorous that puts them in a light mood. And as they interact with your work, this is interpreted as attention. The more your work get attention, the more it's interpreted as valuable work. And search engines such as Google can rank it high. If you look at it from the perspective of social media, the more we look at a funny clip, the more the funny clip is recommended by the algorithm to other people, because it's funny enough and it has captured the attention of many people. So humor captures the attention of many people to the point where it can be recommended over and over again, over and over again, until you find like one video has 20 million views or 30 million views because of the humorous aspect of it. Now, I was watching a certain brand video about people who do reviews about drinks. This guy who was reviewing the drink said that he drank some alcohol and it made him fat. So that was very funny. A few weeks later, I found myself looking for the same video because it was a funny video. On Instagram, if I come across something humorous, I always save it so that I can watch it sometimes. Maybe like 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later. So I have a list of saved videos which are humorous. The more I watch it, the more it also gets views and the more it's recommended to other people. The same thing can be applied to your work. When someone reads something humorous, they love that very good. They love that impression which is good, and they recommend it to other people. Now, come to think of it, this day and age where everything has been so bland and generic, it's becoming a little bit hard to come across work with some personality. And a few weeks back, there was this writer who I read. She's called Anna. No, she's not called Anna. She's called Anne. Anne. She's called Anne. Okay, she's called Anne. And what she did, she incorporated her personality in her work. It was very funny because I can still remember her work up to date. So that is an example of the kind of impression that humor can leave in your work. What else have you seen that's humorous? Seen something that's humorous? Please let me know in the comments. Seen something that's, even if it's a meme or a video or your own experience, which maybe you had in the past few years that was humorous. Let me know about the experience that you had. Now, apart from that, you have the second meaning when it comes to humor. I've mentioned a little bit about AI content being used nowadays to the point where people losing and toning down their personality, which includes humor. There's a lot of suppression when it comes to work, because we want to be perceived in a certain manner, in a serious and authoritative manner, which to some extent is good, but to some extent it can be confining. It's the same thing that happens when you read information. It's bland. It's like a black and white movie. No, there's nothing against. I have nothing against black and white movie. It's just that if you give me colored movie versus black and white movie, the colored movie looks much more attractive than a black and white movie. But if a black and white movie is comical and humorous, there's a high chance that I'll watch it to the end because it has some personality. Now, it is like a boring black and white movie, nothing, just bland. And personality and humor, especially humor, is what gives your work some color. Gives some color. It makes things seem more attractive. Now, if you want to stand out in this day and age, including humor in your work can go a very long way in making you stand out, because you're doing things that are not necessarily being done, which are not termed as normal, but they are normal. Humor is something that's normal. It's part of life. It's part of life. But in the past few years, and it's been suppressed a lot. That is the reason why you should include it in your